Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, Vanakkam. It is June the 26th, Sunday, and I'm Jagjit, bringing you the 67th episode of Weekly Takes Saptahiki from New York. Since a couple of days back, it has started to really feel that summer has arrived in New York. It is around 31 degrees Celsius today and sunny. Yesterday afternoon, it was 36 degrees. So we are in this almost the same temperature zone as you folks in India. In today's 67th episode of Saptahiki, which literally means news of the week, we'll be talking about happenings in America and in India. Much has happened in this week. The overturning of Roe versus Wade by the Supreme Court and what it means. People are on the streets protesting as well as celebrating. But amidst this hullabaloo, people and the media have forgotten many major issues. What happened to the issue of Hunter Biden and leaks from his laptop? What happened to issues surrounding the BLM leadership? What happened to inflation and rising prices of gas and groceries? What happened to billions being given to secure the border of Ukraine while our borders remain open? What happened to Joe Biden's failing popularity? Are we to talk about any of these, or have they taken the back burner? What do you think, America? Share your thoughts and we'll discuss them in a later episode. Coming back, let's talk about the Roe versus Wade. What is it and what it means for America and its image around the world as the champion of democracy and people's rights? Roe versus Wade was a landmark decision of the US Supreme Court in which the court ruled that the Constitution of the United States generally protects a pregnant woman's liberty to choose to have an abortion. The case was brought by Norma McCorvey, known by the legal pseudonym Jane Roe, who in 1969 became pregnant with her third child. McCorvey wanted an abortion but lived in Texas, where abortion was illegal except when necessary to save the mother's life. Her attorneys, Sarah Weddington and Linda Coffey, filed a lawsuit on her behalf in United States Federal Court against her local district attorney, Henry Wade. Now you know where the names come from. The lawyers alleged that Texas abortion laws were unconstitutional. A three-judge panel of the United States District Court for the Northern District of Texas ruled in her favor and declared the relevant Texas abortion statutes unconstitutional. The parties appealed this ruling to the Supreme Court of the United States. On January 22, 1973, the Supreme Court issued a 7-2 decision holding that the due process clause of the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution provides a fundamental right to privacy which protects a pregnant woman's right to an abortion. That, in brief, is what the law was until overturned by the Supreme Court recently, declaring that the constitutional right to abortion, upheld for nearly a half century, no longer exists. What is the situation now? 16 states plus the District of Columbia have laws that protect the right to abortion. In 2 other states, courts have ruled that the state constitution establishes that right. Those states are concentrated on the east and west coasts. On the other end of the spectrum, 13 states have trigger laws that would quickly ban nearly all abortions, and at least a half dozen moved Friday to implement them, including Arkansas, Kentucky, Missouri, and South Dakota. 4 more have pre-Roe bans that would again be in effect. 3 other states have laws on the books that will ban abortion after about 6 weeks of pregnancy. So is America divided? Or in other words, do we have 2 Americas? A tweet which caught my attention rightly sums it up. Welcome to the United States where guns have more rights than women. Do I need to say any more? Express your thoughts, write in the comment box, for or against, doesn't matter. We'll surely discuss it in the next episode. But behind all this, have we heard about Hunter Biden and his famous laptop? His ex-wife reveals that Hunter was struggling under a massive drug addiction. The divorce was a result of infidelity. A DNA test in 2019 found he was the biological and legal father of a child born to an exotic dancer, London Alexis Roberts. Hunter claimed to have no recollection of their encounter in his memoir, but he has settled a paternity suit with Miss Roberts and now pays her child support. From 2013 to 2016, he held a board seat at the Chinese private equity firm BHR Partners, first as an unpaid member and later owning a 10% equity stake in the fund. In 2014, Hunter joined the board of an Ukrainian natural gas company, Burisma Holdings, where he was reportedly paid up to $50,000 a month. All these apparently do not look kosher. And have we heard any more about the mansion bought by the BLM using public money? And are we hearing any more about the rising gas prices and inflation anymore? Or bringing respite to the American people? But we do hear about billions of dollars being given to Ukraine to secure their borders while our borders remain open. It was the whim and fancy of one person and the theory of weapons of mass destruction which destroyed Iraq. And now, the whim and fancy of another person which has led to thousands of people killed and leading to an economic crisis of the world and people and families struggling to get food on their table. One person. God bless America. And what has all this led to? The popularity of President Joe Biden has plummeted every week. According to a Reuters Ipsos poll, US President Joe Biden's public approval rating fell for a fourth straight week to 36%. And all this is not good news for the Democratic Party in the November midterm elections. The 2022 midterm elections are now 135 days away, and Republicans have an 8-point lead in their bid to recapture control of Congress. The latest Rasmussen Reports National Telephone and Online Survey finds that if the elections for Congress were held today, 48% of likely US voters would vote for the Republican candidate, while 40% would vote for the Democrats. God bless America. Share your thoughts, write in the comment box. Now, moving over to India, where much has been happening since we last talked. Maharashtra is in a political crisis. The richest nation in India, with country's financial capital Mumbai, is witnessing a major tug of war that may even result in Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray's government collapsing. The Maha Vikas Aghadi, as the three-way coalition is called, has been jolted by a coup masterminded by Shiv Sena strongman Eknath Shinde. Initially, he along with supporters went to Surat and then to Guwahati in Assam. On June 23rd, Shinde did a show of strength in Guwahati with 42 rebel MLAs in Guwahati. With this number, it appeared that Shinde had made a serious dent into Shiv Sena's tally of 55 in the Maharashtra Assembly. The number is increasing every day. Meanwhile, the so-called rebel Shiv Sena leader Eknath Shinde spoke to Maharashtra Navnirman Sena's Raj Thackeray on Sunday and inquired about his health. As the political crisis continues to unfold in Maharashtra, the rebel camp led by Minister Eknath Shinde has floated an idea to form a group named Shiv Sena Bala Saheb. The scenario is becoming interesting with hearing in the Supreme Court on 27th, where Abhishek Manu Singhvi, the Congress party leader, will be representing Uddhav Thackeray, while Harish Salve will represent Eknath Shinde. Uddhav said a lot about backstabbing by his own colleagues, but failed to mention that Modi and Fadnavis campaigned for the Shiv Sena in 2019 elections. And as a result, the Shiv Sena got more seats because the BJP respected Balasaheb. Shiv Sena had Modi on all their posters and they got votes in the name of Hindutva. Shiv Sena couldn't have won even 10 seats without BJP support. And after the elections, Shiv Sena joined hands with Congress and the NCP and backstabbed. Uddhav also did not say that they buried the Palghar Sadhu's murder, Sushant Singh's murder, and ran a Vasuli Raj. We demolished Kangna's property because she criticized me. That was the talk. We harassed and jailed BJP supporters who tweeted against us. This is what they did. We jailed Arnab Goswami in a foisted case. We banned Hanuman Chalisa and supported Azan on loudspeakers to establish our brand of Hindutva. I called my father impractical. This is what he said. We did puja of Rajiv Gandhi and Indira Gandhi. We accepted Sonia Gandhi is the Matoshri. Hence, we treated our MPs and MLAs and grassroots workers like slaves, pretty much like Nehru family treats their party. What's wrong with these people? That they want to betray us? And the international ecosystem is at play in Maharashtra imbroglio. Can you believe it? BBC is doing a hit jobs on Eknath Shinde, saying he has not done any development work in his ancestral village. Can you imagine the power of the global ecosystem that has been mobilized? For what? Seriously? Foreign government sent agents to some tiny village called Dare with just 30 homes. Foreign agents knocking on their doors, finding ways to criticize Eknath Shinde. This was going on because they fear he might help the BJP form a government which would not be for their pleasing. This is the international ecosystem mobilized to stop BJP. Frankly, I find this terrifying. Why would the British government even be interested in some tiny village with 30 homes somewhere in remote area of Maharashtra? What are they looking for? What do they want to know? We have friendly relations with Britain, but I think most Indians would be freaked out if they heard that the British government is trying to choose sides in the MVA crisis. जहां की रानी लूटे हुए हीरे से अपना मुकुट सजाती है, वो हमको ज्ञान बांटते हैं। महाराष्ट्र की बड़ी विचित्र स्थिति है। उद्धव सेनापति हैं, लेकिन सेना नहीं है। शिंदे के साथ सेना है, लेकिन सत्ता नहीं है। पवार शिवसेना के साथ हैं, लेकिन शिव सैनिक उनके साथ नहीं है। सबसे मजेदार स्थिति तो कांग्रेस की है, जो खुद तो सबके साथ है, लेकिन उसके साथ कोई नहीं। Another major news is from Gujarat. Agreeing with the findings of the special investigation team appointed by the Supreme Court that there was no larger conspiracy behind the 2002 Gujarat riots, the Supreme Court on Friday dismissed the appeal filed by Zakia Zafari challenging the SIT's clean chit to Narendra Modi, who was then the state's chief minister, and others in cases related to riots. It is likely to be the end of the chapter as for PM Modi's name in the larger conspiracy charge is concerned. The top court has not only heavily praised the SIT but also pulled up the appellants for questioning the integrity of the investigators. While stopping short of ordering action against the appellants, the bench has said those involved in keeping the pot boiling with false revelations and ulterior designs need to face law. And swiftly, the law took its own course and Teesta Sitalwad was arrested. But who is she? Teesta Sitalwad is a journalist turned activist who has been active in the Gujarat riots case. She formed an organization called Citizens for Justice and Peace, saying that this will advocate for the victims of 2002 riots. Her organization was a co-petitioner in many cases related to the program. However, the Supreme Court on Friday said that Setalwad has exploited the emotions of petitioner Zakia Zafri for ulterior motives. Setalwad has already faced criticism from the BJP for using the plight of 2002 victims to receive foreign funding, a charge denied by her. In 2015, the federal probe agency CBI registered a case against her and her husband, alleging that their company, Sabrang Communications, received foreign funding in violation of FCRA Act, receiving rupees 2 crores from the Ford Foundation, despite being ineligible. And also for your information, जब आप मुंबई के पॉश एरिया जुहू में घूमेंगे, तब जुहू तारा रोड पर अमिताभ बच्चन के बंगले के 2-3 बंगले बाद बड़े बड़े उद्योगपतियों के बंगले हैं, फिर एक बेहद विशाल बंगला आपको नजर आएगा जिसका नाम है निरांत। यह बंगला अमिताभ बच्चन के बंगले से भी 3 गुना बड़ा है। इस बंगले में करीब 3 एकड़ का लॉन है और बेहद आलीशान बंगला है। आप सोच में पड़ जाएंगे कि ये आखिर किस उद्योगपति और हस्ती का मुंबई में जुहू के पॉश एरिया में इतना आलीशान बंगला है। जानिए, ये बंगला तीस्ता जावेद सीतलवाड़ का है, पार्ट ऑफ द इकोसिस्टम। खेल यहीं तक नहीं है। Retired Judge M.B. Soni revealed that all petitions related to Gujarat riots filed by Teesta Setalwad in the Supreme Court went to a specific judge, Aftab Alam. It was later found that Justice Aftab Alam's daughter, Arusha Alam, was a partner in the NGO of Teesta Setalwad. Anand Ranganathan summed her up in one sentence: Teesta is a river of lies, fed by a glacier of deceit and emptying into an ocean of fraud. And now on to the elections for 10 seats, 3 Lok Sabha, 2 in Uttar Pradesh and 1 in Punjab, and 7 assembly seats across 5 states, Tripura, Andhra Pradesh, Delhi and Jharkhand, were held on June 23rd. Counting of votes happened today and results were announced. Of the 2 parliament seats of Uttar Pradesh, BJP won both on expected lines, as people in general are happy with the second term of Yogi Adityanath. In Punjab, projections were for a victory for Aam Aadmi Party, as they had won the assembly comfortably very recently. But victory eluded them and the seat was won by a candidate from Shiromani Akali Dal, a person who flaunts the cause of Khalistan. The government needs to be cautious. The Congress won 2 assembly seats, 1 in each in Tripura and Jharkhand. The AAP won an assembly seat in Delhi, while the YSRCP was victorious in Andhra Pradesh. The other 3 seats in Tripura were won by the ruling BJP. All said and done, even though Congress party won in Jharkhand, which was basically due to its alliance partner, the question remains, what is the fate of the Congress party? Both Sonia Ji and Rahul Gandhi are on bail on the infamous National Herald AJL case. ED summons are existing for both of them in several matters. And there are charges of corruption against Robert Vadra, the national Jijaji, a report about which is to be filed soon. कहते हैं ना कि कर्म का फल इसी दुनिया में भुगतना पड़ता है. My gut feeling is that maybe Congress workers, I call workers because nobody is a leader in the Congress party, as none of them have a voice except the family. And if you sing a different tune, then the masters, or rather party owners, shunt you out. Perhaps someone will get enthused by the happenings in Shiv Sena and gather some courage to rebel against the family and establish the real Congress as per the legacy of the Mahatma and not the fake Gandhis. Nothing happens unless someone takes a leap of faith. The country needs the Congress party as a strong opposition. And I hope it does happen. And before we end, let's move to your most loved segment of Saptahiki, some little known but unknown facts. Did you know which American president popularized the phrase, "The buck stops here"? The phrase is based on the metaphorical expression, passing the buck, derived from poker gameplay that came to mean passing the blame, or absolving oneself of responsibility or concern by denying authority or jurisdiction over a given matter. Passing the buck in international relations theory involves the tendency of nation states to refuse to confront a growing threat in the hopes that another state will. The most notable example was the refusal of the United Kingdom, United States, France, and or the Soviet Union to confront Nazi Germany effectively in the 1930s. With the Munich Agreement, France and the United Kingdom passed the buck to the Soviet Union, which then avoided armed confrontation by signing the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Harry Truman was the American president who popularized the phrase and had a sign on his desk with "the buck stops here" inscribed on it. This was meant to indicate that he didn't pass the buck to anyone else but accepted personal responsibility for the way the country was governed. Hope leaders follow it. आज के लिए बस इतना ही. अगले एपिसोड की रूपरेखा विकसित करने के लिए आपकी टिप्पणियों की प्रतीक्षा में हम फिर से देश में विदेश में होने वाली घटनाओं के बारे में चर्चा करेंगे. और हाँ, अगर आपको कार्यक्रम पसंद आया हो तो कृपया लाइक बटन को दबाएं और भविष्य के कार्यक्रमों के बारे में खुद को सूचित रखने के लिए चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें. अगले सप्ताह के लिए जय हिंद, जय भारत.